What if Anakin Skywalker never burned on Mustafar? Let's explore the depths of it in the video. As Anakin leapt from the molten platform, blade raised high in a final furious strike, Obi-Wan twisted with instinct, his reflexes sharper than thought, guided by a heartbeat. In a single motion, his lightsaber ignited and plunged cleanly into Anakin's abdomen. The moment hung still, the humming blade buried in his flesh, the heat of it casting ghostly blue light across both their faces. Anakin's eyes widened, not with pain, but betrayal. As he collapsed backwards, the hiss of the saber retracting, cutting through the roar of the lava. Obi-Wan stood frozen, trembling, the weapon still warm in his hand, horrified by what he had done, and what he had been forced to do. Anakin collapses to his knees, clutching his abdomen. His lightsaber slips from his hand, deactivating as it hits the ground. Steam rises. Obi-Wan stands frozen, saber still ignited, breathing hard.
You hesitated. I saw it. Even now, you still can't do it. I didn't want this, Anakin. You left me no choice. And you call that no choice? You stabbed me like I was nothing. You were my brother, but you failed me. The Jedi Order, the Republic, everyone. Even Padme. Don't you say her name. You think you're better than me. The wise Jedi Master, always right. Always above it all. But you never understood. You never saw the fire. What it cost to love and lose everyone. And you think power will bring it back. Padme needed you whole, and you let the darkness consume you. You let him twist your love into hate. He gave me purpose. You gave me judgment. Then I'm sorry I failed you, Anakin. But I won't let you drag the galaxy down with you. I hate you. Goodbye, Anakin. This isn't over.
Obi-Wan turns away, eyes filled with grief. He walks to the ship and lifts Padme's unconscious body aboard. As the ramp closes, Anakin lies dying slowly on the blackened stone, body intact, soul shattered. The volcanic winds still howled across Mustafar, but the duel was long over. The smoke had thinned, revealing broken fragments of battle-scorched stone, and on the black rock near the landing pad, the figure of Anakin Skywalker lay crumpled in silence.
He's still alive.
You live? Of course you do. Death would never dare touch you. Bring the medics. Now.
He looked down once more at his fallen apprentice, this creature of fury and prophecy, but something in the Force whispered louder than the wind. He is stronger now. Anakin lay in a stasis pod deep within Coruscant's medical sanctum, suspended in pale, sterile light. Droids worked without pause, their limbs gliding over flesh and circuitry, repairing torn tissue, stabilizing ruptured organs, restoring what Obi-Wan's blade had nearly destroyed. Weeks pass. No announcement was made. No memorial service. No funeral pyre. To the galaxy, Anakin Skywalker had perished alongside the Jedi Order. He had become another casualty of the betrayal and chaos. But in the silence, something else was taking shape. Darth Vader was awakening. Not in a coffin of metal and tubes, but in a living body, whole and unbroken. What stirred behind closed doors was not the machine-bound horror the galaxy would come to fear, but something more elusive. A man, a shadow, a storm still finding its shape. Now, within Palpatine's private chamber high above the cityscape, Anakin stood before a towering window that overlooked the endless spires of Coruscant. He was shirtless, his torso marked by scars not yet faded. The wound over his abdomen, a fresh reminder. His hands remained steady, his breath slow, his silhouette carved from purpose. His reflection in the transparent steel glass stared back at him with something deeper than anger, something colder than vengeance. Palpatine watched him in silence from across the darkened chamber, seated, robes drawn in around him like a patient spider. The Sith Lord studied his apprentice with a narrowed gaze. There was no longer pity, or even concern, only calculation.
You're recovering faster than expected.
The medics say your cellular regeneration is far beyond anything they've seen. Even enhanced clones don't heal like you. It seems pain has refined you.
I should have died.
But you didn't. That should tell you something.
I was struck down by my own brother. Padme was right there. I should have been stronger.
She made her choice, my friend. She saw the strength rising in you and recoiled, just like the Jedi did. Just like Kenobi did.
She came to me. She believed in me.
And she lost faith when it mattered. Love is fragile. It bends. It breaks. Power does not. That is why we are Sith.
I don't feel like myself anymore.
Because you've shed who you were. Skywalker is dead. You are something more now. You are what the Jedi feared you would become.
But I don't feel whole.
Of course not. You've only just begun. Your body is healing, but your mind still clings to the past. It will pass. Grief fades. Power remains.
And what if I can't let go?
Then you will become a shadow of what you could be. Like the Jedi clinging to peace while the galaxy burns. But I don't believe that's you. Not anymore.
I feel different. Clearer. There's something inside me now. Not just rage. Not just grief. A kind of silence. Like the Force is no longer fighting me.
Good. That silence is freedom. The Jedi call it the dark side. I call it clarity. Let it guide you.
And what happens next?
Now we begin the true work. The Jedi are scattered. The Senate is mine. The galaxy lies waiting. And you, my friend, will be its hammer.
I won't fail you.
You'd better not. For all your strength, you're still learning. And even the strongest apprentices are replaceable. If they forget that.
I understand, Master.
Good. Let the galaxy mourn the Jedi. Let them whisper of Skywalker's death. But you are Lord Vader. And your legend is just beginning.
An electric silence hangs between them. Palpatine watches him walk to the far end of the chamber and place his hand on the glass, where the Coruscant skyline stretches endlessly. His silhouette is calm, but the Force trembles. For the first time in decades, the Master feels uncertain. Meanwhile, Padme gives birth to the twins.
There's good in him. I know this.
Hidden, safe. The children must be kept.
We must take them somewhere where the Sith will not sense their presence.
My wife and I will take the girl.
And what of the boy?
To Tatooine. To his family send him.
I will take the child and watch over him.
The Jedi Temple smoldered. Columns had been raised. Statues of forgotten masters cracked in half. And amidst the ash, he walked. No armor, no mask. Only black robes sweeping over shattered stone and boots leaving no echo. Lightsaber still in hand, still warm with the kill. His presence radiated through the Force. Poisonous, absolute, without resistance. The few Jedi who survived that night would speak of a shadow that came with fire in his eyes. He did not speak. He did not hesitate. He moved like vengeance given form. They had whispered of Vader, the Emperor's unseen blade, and now they knew. He was real. But this Vader did not look like a monster. He looked like a man. Young, whole, and horrifying. They had said Anakin Skywalker died on Mustafar. They were not entirely wrong. Across the galaxy, the purge continued. Temples, enclaves, archives, all erased in his wake. Jedi Masters who had survived Order 66 were tracked by his hand alone. He did not send clones. He did not negotiate. He arrived. He destroyed. He left. And the Empire praised him. The people saw only a brilliant enforcer of the Empire's name, charismatic, decisive, even elegant. But the Force saw something else. A storm, controlled, but only barely. In the quiet sanctum of his private study, Palpatine turned a holocron over in his gnarled hands. Its crimson light flickered against his skin, casting lines deeper into his already shadowed face. He had not slept. Not well, at least. Not since Ryloth. Not since Vader crushed an entire resistance cell without a single casualty among his own. Not since Vader executed a Jedi Master with one word, using the Force alone. He was supposed to serve. The throne room was silent as Vader entered without being summoned. He bowed low, still, as protocol demanded, but his movements were slower now. Measured, not hesitant, but deliberate. Palpatine studied him carefully.
Your campaign on Mon Cala was decisive. Even Admiral Yularen is impressed, and he is not easily impressed.
I expected as much. The Jedi that led them was disciplined. She lasted longer than most.
And yet she fell, as they all do. I've assigned you to the Outer Rim territories. You'll have full control of the deep core patrol routes. A reward for your loyalty.
The Outer Rim is fractured. I require a fleet.
Of course, you'll have it. You'll be far from Coruscant, but I expect regular reports.
Yes, my master.
Is there something else, Lord Vader?
No, master. Only one question.
Ask.
The Sith. You and I. We are the last, but the rule of two. It implies a cycle. One to embody power, one to crave it. Do you still believe in it?
Careful, my apprentice. Doctrine is not debated. It is obeyed.
Of course. I meant only to understand its origins.
The rule of two exists because power must be tested, refined. If the apprentice grows strong enough to replace the master, so be it. That is the Sith way. But understand, many believe they are ready. Many are not. And you certainly are not.
Vader did not respond. He only watched the shadows move across the floor, as if tracking time. He left Coruscant the next day. The fleets were granted. The deep core opened before him like a wound. And yet, even far from the throne, Vader's reach grew longer. He hunted not only the Jedi, but artifacts, secrets, remnants of the old Sith empires buried in tombs the Republic had sealed and forgotten. The dark side called to him not as a whisper, but as a flood. And he listened. 3 years have passed. He studied Bane's holocrons, learned how he poisoned his master, then ruled in secret. He learned of Plagueis, how the Sith once tried to master life and death. And he learned of betrayal, how every true Sith had faced the same question. When does the student surpass the teacher? He never asked aloud, not yet, but he no longer called it blasphemy. Palpatine felt the shift before his spies reported it. They spoke of rituals Vader performed in the ruined temples of the Dromund Kaas, of how the Inquisitors now flinched when he entered the room, how he could silence a council of moffs with a single sentence. More alarming were the reports that some senators feared him more than the Emperor. He confronted Vader again, this time in a cold chamber beneath the Senate, where the echoes could not escape.
You study too deeply. There is danger in knowledge if it is not tempered.
Knowledge is power, is it not?
And power is fire. Unchecked, it consumes the fool who holds it.
Then perhaps the fire should choose who it consumes.
You speak in riddles, apprentice.
I speak plainly. You taught me to see through illusion. Now I see through everything.
Then see this as well. There are fates worse than death for those who mistake ambition for readiness.
Yes, my master.
The galaxy still called him Darth Vader, but it no longer imagined him as a broken man in iron. It saw his eyes now, burning gold, unblinking, watching from shadows. A dark prince who smiled at senators and killed with his hand alone. Whispers reached even the Outer Rim. The Emperor controls the Empire, but Vader owns the night. and in the dark, Vader meditated alone, not to quiet his thoughts, but to shape them. He no longer dreamed of Mustafar. He no longer mourned Padme. He waited. He studied. He prepared, because deep in his mind, a question pulsed louder with every breath. If I am the future, why does the past still sit on the throne? 15 years have passed. The Jedi were gone, the Senate a puppet theater, and the Empire ruled in the name of order. But beneath the surface, new forces stirred. On Alderaan, young Senator Leia Organa rose with conviction and fire, seeking truth through veiled diplomacy. She carried her father's ideals, but something more pulsed within her, something she couldn't name. Across the galaxy, on the forgotten world of Tatooine, a restless farm boy named Luke Skywalker dreamed of the stars. He felt a pull beyond his moisture farm, a longing that reached across the Force itself. And Vader felt it too. In the silence of the void, as he meditated in chambers built from obsidian and blood, a ripple would come. Faint, but familiar. Not Jedi, not Sith. Something buried. Something his master had never accounted for. Palpatine noticed the shift as well. Not in the Force, but in Vader. He had grown quieter, colder, more restrained. The anger that once boiled now flowed with discipline, and discipline was dangerous. It meant control, and controlled power was harder to chain. So the Emperor set a test. A false lead about a surviving Jedi and a holocron from Darth Plagueis, buried in the unknown regions, warded by ancient Sith magic. A lure designed to provoke ambition, betrayal, greed. A trap wrapped in legacy. But Vader no longer lunged at power. He circled it, studied it, smiled at it. He understood the lesson now. Palpatine had never been his end, only his passage. The rule of two was not a covenant, it was a ladder, and every rung ended in a corpse. Vader did not fear the trap. He welcomed it, for in the shadows of that false test, he had begun crafting his own. The apprentice had learned, and the master had grown old. The corridors of the Imperial Palace had grown cold in recent months, not from lack of heat, but from fear. Rumors spread among Moffs and admirals. Lord Vader was changing. He spoke less, punished rarely, and moved with a calm that unsettled even the most hardened officers. The storm had gone quiet, and they feared what silence might bring. In his sanctum, Palpatine watched Vader through countless hidden lenses and whispered to shadows that no longer whispered back. The Force, once malleable to his will, now trembled around his apprentice. Something had shifted. He needed to know where Vader's loyalty truly lay, and so he waited, watching the bait. The coordinates led to a dark world at the edge of the unknown regions, a place veiled in anomaly and myth. Palpatine ensured the data was intercepted, masked as a threat to his reign, betting that Vader's lust for power would push him into the open. But Vader, now master of deception, understood too well. He made no mention of intelligence. He summoned no fleets. He merely activated a private hyperspace route and summoned someone who had long remained hidden. The apprentice entered the chamber silently. Her face was marked with scars, her eyes feral with discipline, a child of the gutter, shaped by pain, tempered by Vader's precise instruction.
You will go to the Shadow World. The holocron is real, but the message within is mine to receive. You will claim it in my name. Leave no trace. If the Emperor arrives, you are already gone.
And if there are Jedi?
There are none. This is a grave built for one.
She vanished into hyperspace. When Vader finally made his own arrival, 3 standard days later, the trap had been set. Red sand whipped across crumbling ziggurats. The air crackled with latent force energy. Atop a monolith carved with Sith runes, Palpatine waited.
You came,
I received the report.
and yet you came alone.
Was I not meant to?
Ambition, Lord Vader, is best witnessed in the absence of witnesses.
And deception, Master, is best performed when both players believe they hold the knife. I know what this place is. You designed it to reveal weakness.
Then you also know it reveals truth.
You sent me to die, or betray myself. I did neither. I brought you this.
He activated the holocron. A flickering figure emerged, distorted, static-laced. The visage of Darth Plagueis, gaunt and whispering.
The apprentice always believes he is in control,
But power reveals intent, not destiny. Trust is the greatest lie among Sith.
Palpatine stared, unmoving.
Did you know this holocron existed?
No. I believed it was lost.
Then hear what it tells you. This is the shape of what comes.
The message ended. Vader deactivated the holocron and placed it before the throne. Palpatine descended from the monolith, robes trailing behind him. He stepped within arm's reach of Vader. His tone softened.
You've grown. Remarkably.
You taught me to.
And what have you learned, Lord Vader?
That fear builds empires, but discipline preserves them. That rage is a weapon best sheathed until needed. And that a master should never teach an apprentice all he knows.
So, you understand the rule of two?
No. I understand why it must end.
Lightning flared from Palpatine's fingers, but Vader had already moved. His saber ignited, red-hot lights spilling across the ancient stone. The duel was unlike any before. There was no screaming, no rage, only silence, precision, and finality. Palpatine's fury struck like a storm, but Vader deflected each blow with clinical grace. He was not the apprentice anymore. He was the storm's eye. Palpatine pushed with everything. Force lightning, Sith incantations, dark memories. But Vader met it all with focus, patience, and a clarity forged from years of waiting. And then, a shift. A hand severed. A chokehold reversed. A red blade plunged through silk.
The apprentice must crave power more than life. You taught me that.
The Emperor collapsed, robes emptying over stone. Vader stood in the red light of his saber, but he did not take the throne. He turned from it. The holocrons were destroyed that night. An ancient Sith archive incinerated, forbidden knowledge dissolved. His secret apprentice, once a vessel for power, was executed in the dark, her name never spoken. The rule of two died with her. Vader returned to Coruscant alone. The Senate was told the Emperor died of illness. Vader assumed temporary control, but he refused coronation, refused the trappings of tyranny. He became an unseen hand, ruling not with terror, but with calculated presence. The Inquisitors were disbanded. Imperial governors received unexpected leniency. The galaxy quieted, and yet, in the deep hours of night, Vader disappeared. To Tatooine. He did not approach the Lars homestead. He simply watched. A boy fixing a speeder, a woman calling him in for supper, the sound of laughter carried on the desert wind. Vader left a signal beacon buried beneath a dune. Not a message, not a call, just a possibility. He departed before the suns rose. On Alderaan, Leia Organa stood at a podium, fire in her eyes. She spoke of freedom, of unity, of resisting tyranny. The rebellion had no central leader, but it had something stronger, a spark. And on Tatooine, Luke Skywalker looked up at the twin suns, the storm awakening behind his eyes. In the shadow of a tomb once carved for Sith kings, Vader stood alone. The rule of two was broken. The dark side was quiet. But the Force had only begun to stir. That's our theory. The Star Wars universe is a galaxy filled with exciting stories and possibilities, and we love exploring them. If you'd like to join us on this journey to a galaxy far, far away, then please like, share, and subscribe to our channel.